Hello and welcome to Ed Table Talk Unplugged, a show produced by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, where we, along with numerous stakeholders in the field, dissect issues surrounding education. Today's discussion is dubbed Working and in High School. This topic, we think, is a very timely one, as more and more school-aged children find themselves in this position. In a number of instances, children seemingly do not have an option when it comes to working for wages as their circumstances demand it. Joining our discussion today are actual working students who will tell their stories. And also joining us is the Vice Principal of R.M. Bailey Senior High School, Mrs. Carmen Miller, who will share her observations. But before we go any further, our Lisa Bullard is standing by with some special facts. Lisa?
Many high school students have jobs. Being a full-time student and working has its advantages and disadvantages. Students may choose not to work while in high school because their schedules are already full. With sports practices and lengthy hours of studying, there may not be much time for a job. On the other hand, some of them may feel compelled to assist their families by working. Whether or not high school students should work while in school obviously has its pros and cons. Some of the benefits a high school student may experience from working include gaining life skills, development of interpersonal and communication skills, building a resume early on, learning the value of $1, and time management. Some of the cons of working during high school may include a reduced amount of time to study, do homework, or participate in extracurricular activities, loss of opportunities due to time constraints, stress, and exhaustion, which may lead to declining grades. The ability to manage time well allows some high school students to balance work and school. However, most students should be cautious about taking on too much too soon. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something new. For Ed Factoids, I'm Lisa Bullard.
I am pleased to welcome the Vice Principal of R.M. Bailey Senior High School, Mrs. Carmen Miller, as we spin off this discussion, Working and in High School. Mrs. Miller, I'm so glad to have you join this conversation today. Welcome. Yes, and we know that even prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, there have been students in high school working, finding themselves having to balance school and work. So, as you observe now, as a school administrator, is this a big reality within your school?
Yes, certainly. Many of our students are engaged in working. Most of them, for the most part, they are part-time workers working between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. If you look, you will find our students in food stores. They're packing boys and shop boys and cashiers. Some of our students are babysitting, some are pump attendants, and some are hoteliers. Even on Saturdays, we have students working as helpers on construction site. So employment has always been a part of the senior high school experience.
Wow, and that must be a huge level of responsibility for these youngsters being able to balance that. I mean, I can't imagine at that age having to study, then going to work, coming back, you know, it's a lot. How early does this really start out? How early do they start out? Junior high?
Yes, it does start in junior high. We find that around grade 7, just for a few students, but mostly grade 9. You have students that want extra, more than their parents can provide. And so for pocket money, you find most of the students involved in some type of employment. But for the most part, it's packing boys, and they just want a little bit extra. in their pockets.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question to you. Like, what is usually the motive behind students working? Is it something that's self-motivated, or are they forced by anyone in particular to work? What's usually the circumstances?
Well, mostly students who work, they are self-motivated. They want to work for their needs. We live in this generation where students, they see a lot of stuff and they want. You know, we talk about Maslow's law and they just want. We said students, they need food, they need shelter, you know, they need love. But for the students, they need extra. They want first world gadgets. And so the expensive iPhones and iPads, the name brand tennis and clothing, that's what they want. Even the hairstyles, they want their nails done. And so students...
Nails done in school?
Nails done.
That's allowed?
It's not allowed, but they'll get it done on the weekend. And by Monday morning, when they walk to that gate, we say, take it off. Just take it off. But that's just what they want. They want first world life. They want a life of luxury. They want to impress their peers. And so, you know, they want to work for this money because the parents really can't afford to maintain their children's lifestyles.
Right. And so do you see this happening a lot throughout from 7th to 12th grade?
Yes, it's quite prevalent. Actually, not just 7th. I'll go a little higher. I'll say 9th to 12th grade. They are the workers.
Are the children coping? Are they really balancing between the work and school? Are they coping? Are their grades challenged? Are they coping as students and working children?
Many of them are doing an excellent job and are self-motivated. And they're no different from our student athletes, those who are in track or baseball, or those who work in the band. These are the kids who stay behind after school, and they're actually after school until sometimes 7 p.m. at night. And so they're working also in a way. And so our part-time students, our athletes, we pay special attention to them because we know there are extra hours that they put in. But if a child is motivated, self-motivated, they will do well. Some need some additional help.
Right. But you know what's interesting? I want to go back because you said a lot of children, they love to be on top. They want designer things. They want what's happening or what's the style. Are they that interested in purchasing textbooks, workbooks, things, tools, items that support their education and their academics? How interested are they?
In a junior high school, they're not interested in that. I don't think it's until the 11th, 12th grade that they're mature enough and they say, okay, rather than have all these little luxury items, I need to focus on schooling and the things that I would need. Let's say if you are a tech student, these are the equipment that I need to be successful. But in the junior high, they walk into the gates and they're brand name from top to bottom, but the bag is empty. The bag is a brand name bag, but it's empty.
Right. What are some of our students focus on? Does the school give any support to children, to students in this situation?
Yes. Once a child enters the school, especially in senior high school, they are assigned a team, and we call this team Your Village. And so we're watching everything about this child, socially how he's doing, what is his grades like. We're just watching them day by day. And a part of this team, in the forefront, we have homeroom teachers. They're the first line of sight with the children. Then they assign a guidance counselor, a year head, and 2 administrators. So anything that we see that if they're falling behind, then we address it very quickly. We give them guidance, we call in their parents, we see how we can rectify situations, even if they need just to have a schedule put in. Now, if a child is working, let's say maybe from 4 until 12, midnight, then that's kind of difficult.
Oh, wow. How often do you see that situation?
It's not very often, but when it happens, then we have to call on outside forces to help us. And sometimes we can get social service to lend more of a hand because we want to cut back on those hours. Because those set of children, the very few of them, they fall behind because they can't juggle an entire shift from 4 to 12 and then come to school and still function.
Right.
But the children, they want to do it because some of them, they're sensitive to the family's needs. And so if they see the family is struggling, then these are the kids who will sacrifice and say, well, I need to help my parents. It's not an issue of me having this job. I just need to help. I need to assist. And so we said, okay, we put you on a schedule. We talk to your teachers, give you more time to do your assignments before it is graded. And whatever we can do, we do. If we have to call on alumni and we said, okay, come in to the school, see how we can assist this family. If the parents need jobs, whatever it is, we call on all our contacts and they assist families.
That's excellent, because you need that community support.
Yes.
And that's why we're having this discussion and this conversation today, to see how we, in our individual roles, can help each other. Yes. And in this instance, we're trying to get the best from out of our students and to maximize on their potential, their ability, so they can become the best and what they were born and purposed to do.
Correct.
All right. Any like success stories? Because you mentioned sometimes students may be challenged. They may be challenged with their work. Grades may suffer. Any success stories that you can think of?
Well, we have quite a number of successes here and there. There's one particular student. She was having a really hard time working. But we were able to bring her in. We brought in the parents. We were able to call her employer, ask them, okay, can you pull back the hours during weekdays from Monday to Friday and give them more time on Saturdays? The parent was able to, I can't call names, the parent was able to secure some job that brought in more money. And as time went by, this particular student, instead of putting in almost 40 hours per week, we were able to cut it down to half. And so it was very successful, and she's one of the children that graduated last year.
Excellent. With a diploma.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. All right, and so when we return, we need to take a quick break at this point. When we return, we will be joined by two students who find themselves in a position to work, and they're going to give us a bit about their story when we return.
The Bahamas Learning Channel, streaming programs through your computer, broadcasting live on your television screens, available at your convenience through your laptop, viewable with the swipe of your finger on your tablet, and visible on the move by means of your smartphone. The Bahamas Learning Channel,
all day, every day.
Education is in the click. In the click. Is in the click. Is in the click.
To Ed Table Talk Unplugged. Today's topic is working and in high school. Before the break, we've had an interesting discussion thus far with Vice Principal of R.M. Bailey Senior High School, Carmen Miller. We're now joined by two lovely, hardworking, intelligent, competent students, Amaya Miller and our Luke Pierre. Now, Amaya is an 11th grade student who is moving into 12th grade. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we have Luke Pierre, also of R.M. Bailey. Let me correct myself. He's a recent graduate. What year did you graduate, Luke?
2022.
2022. It's a pleasure to have you join us. Welcome. Yes. And the first thing I want to ask, I want to get acquainted. I want to hear a bit about your background and yourselves personally. Let's start with our lady. Ladies first, right, Luke?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Amaya, tell us, what are your aspirations, your goals in life?
Well, my aspirations in life is to expand my small business, which is Tisha's Glitz and Glamour collection, and to also get my degree in billing and coding in the medical field.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Power to the women. All right, Luke, what about you?
My aspiration in life is to be an entrepreneur of my own business, and I'm going to focus on being an athlete.
An athlete?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so first of all, you gave me so much stuff just now. First of all, you want to be an entrepreneur. What type of business?
It's an online business, drop shipping.
Okay, great. And an athlete, what are your strengths?
Join the football.
You look like a football player. I'm gonna remember that name. And listen, when you become a football star, remember me, please. Good. So let's get on with it. I want to hear a bit about your family. Let's start with you again, Amaya. Describe your family, both parents, siblings. A little bit about that.
Okay, well, I live in a single-parent home, and I'm the oldest of two boys. So being the only girl and the oldest, it's a lot of responsibility.
I can imagine. All right, Luke, let's hear a bit about it.
I live with my dad, my little sister. So, pretty much it.
With dad, okay. Very nice. So, Luke, you are now out of high school, but tell us what your situation was having to work when you decided to work. Like, what were the circumstances surrounding that? What age or what grade level were you in when you started to work?
I was in grade 8 in
Wow.
2018.
At R.M. Bailey?
That's all.
Okay, not R.M.
No,
Bailey, because R.M. Bailey's a junior, A.F. Adderley. Okay, so why did you start to work and at such an early stage?
During that time, things was tough. So my parents was like, they needed a job because they needed help. So I just looked for a job across right.
Okay, so it was to help to support the family, right? And how did you feel? How did you feel about that?
I feel like it was needed to do.
Right.
That's my amazing.
So you didn't feel like disadvantaged, like, oh, why me? Why am I working?
No, it's my responsibility.
How did you cope? Like, were you keeping up with your grades?
That's why it was level. I was level with my work in school. It was balanced.
Okay, and so you continued straight up from 8th, 9th, straight up to 12th grade?
That's
And what were your jobs? Was it the same thing consistently?
For grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, I was doing parking. But I was doing like different summer jobs, doing it.
Right.
Like construction and other things.
Okay. All right, Amaya, let's take it on to you now. You're in 11th grade, going on to 12th grade. When did you first start working?
Okay, well, I first started working in the 11th grade
Okay.
because COVID-19, it caused an impact, and it was hard for summer students to get jobs and even regular students to get part-time jobs.
Okay, so you just recently started. Where were you working, if you don't mind sharing that?
I started working at My Wish List, which is in Cable Beach, for Darcia Christie as a sales associate.
And how were you performing? Did you feel like it was a good fit for you?
It was a good fit. I also feel as though it helped to expose me to the intricacies and complexities of life. And it also teach me how to manage my time and to
Yes.
expose me into the real world.
Okay, interesting note. You learned time management. So what about balancing your time in school? Like how did you cope? How did you do it? How did you ensure that your homework assignments, because you had special projects, how did you ensure that all of that was done?
Well, in the beginning, it was a bit chaotic, seeing that we were on the hybrid system, so it was virtual and was face-to-face. So therefore, I had to learn how to keep up with my assignments, go to extra classes, because I also took PGCSEs in grade 11.
Wow.
So dealing with deadlines and homework, it got hard, but it showed me that I could do it.
Exactly. What were your working hours? I don't think I asked.
Well, it was a part-time job.
Okay.
So I worked on the weekends. So after classes, I would go straight to work until 6 p.m.
Wow, very disciplined. What about you, Luke? Let's hear from you again. In terms of challenges, let's talk about that. How did you cope? What were your main challenges as a student working and trying to balance high school?
At first, when COVID just came and we had to do virtual school, so I really wasn't getting into it because I work and home, the internet wasn't like up and on, so I couldn't like get to all my classes. But I get into it later on, so I just continue trying to keep up with my teachers, do all my grades, and basically, yeah.
You did well, and so the teachers, everyone was supportive.
That's all.
Principal, everyone. Wow. Amaya, tell us a bit more about your experience. Are you going to continue working? Because school is about to open in just a few weeks. Are you going to continue working come 12th grade?
Yes. Well, right now I'm employed with the summer program, but I will continue to work under my employer at my wish list. I feel as though working encouraged me to be more productive, and it also helped me to keep my grades up and keep a certain standard up for myself.
Wow, remarkable, remarkable. Before we close out the segment, because we have to go to our final break, Ms. Miller, any closing sentiments? Based on what she just said, it seems as though she has had a real learning experience from all of this.
Yes, we found that many of our students who work, these students, they generally do well in school. They are focused, they learn time management, they're not easily distracted. And so they learn some key skills very early. Other students, they take a while to mature, but these kids, they focus. They generally do very well in school on their examinations. And the teachers, they're definitely there. They're very flexible with their hours. You find them on Saturdays. That's when they prefer to do the classes, because we know in the mornings the students are there and they are available. Like Maya said, after classes on Saturday morning, that's when she goes to work.
All right, and it's time to take our final break. When we return, we will conclude this discussion on high school students working and in school. We'll be right back. Ready, get set, and off we go into the 2022-2023 school year. Parents, as your children prepare to return to the classrooms for a full face-to-face instruction beginning August 29th, 2022, here are some tips to assist with getting them ready. This is the perfect opportunity to re-establish screen time limits. It's important that your child's engagement with television and other electronic devices is at a minimum as you create a set routine for the new school year. Reinforce the health and safety protocols with your children and the importance of adherence to them. Ensure that your child has a working device in the event that a transition is made to virtual learning. Help your child to make the mark this school year. Welcome back to our final segment of Ed Table Talk Unplugged. An interesting conversation indeed so far with two beautiful, talented, hardworking, and competent young people of R.M. Bailey Senior High School, and with their vice principal, Mrs. Carmen Miller. So let's conclude this conversation now. Amaya, I'm going to begin with you. As a student working for the past year or so in 11th grade, what valuable lesson or lessons have you learned through it all?
Well, I could say time management, because it taught me how to balance extracurricular activities, school, and having a job, and it exposed me to the real world so that when I'm out of high school, I know what I'm expecting and what to look for. And it also helped me to look back at the quote, "The sky isn't the limit, but the beginning of the limitation set by our sight," by Q.S. Stevens.
Oh, I like that.
So it basically taught me that even though there's a saying, the sky is the limit, there's far more than the sky being the limit that you can do and what others say.
Wow. You're going to go far with that mindset, and that mindset needs to be contagious throughout among all of your peers. Luke, before you give me your aspirations, I want to ask you a question as a young man, and now you're done with high school. Do you feel that because you were working from 8th grade, you said, up until it was time to leave and balancing work and school, do you feel that some of your childhood was taken away from you? Do you feel disadvantaged in any way?
No.
Wow.
I don't feel that.
So what do you feel?
I feel like I'm not growing up too fast, but it's like a responsibility to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
So when I get in the real world, I don't know what to do.
I love it.
That's all.
I love it. And we're losing too many young men. At this point, I'm getting emotional now. Losing too many young men. So I admire you. I admire the stance that you're taking. I admire your strength and your persistence as a young man. And I wish you the best. And now, can you just give some words of advice to other young men, other young people who are in your situation, who find themselves in high school and they have to work, or they're working to help to make ends meet, or for whatever reason they're working. Give some advice.
But I want them to keep pushing on, keep pushing to be better, even though you're at school, and keep working. So just keep pushing. Don't quit school right now, because even though you're working, still do school, because ain't nothing wrong going to school and working at the same time. So all I just want is to keep pushing, know your goals, be a better person.
Excellent. Excellent advice. Amaya, any advice for your fellow peers and other students who may even be younger than you and finding themselves in a position of working and school?
Well, I like to leave a quote by Kamala Harris: "Dream with conviction and lead with ambition."
Oh my God, you're just a walking book. That is good though. That is excellent. And we will end with you, Mrs. Miller. Your final thoughts.
Yes, we cannot control the economic situation that families find themselves in. And so we know that students, some of them will have to work part-time or full-time. And so as a school, we are there to support them. We are their village. We are making sure that they are able to concentrate on their lessons. We rally behind them, and we make sure that they are ready to receive that high school diploma at the end of the 3 years, and that they're also ready for the job market or tertiary education.
Yes, exactly. And that's our ultimate goal. And I salute you. I salute your team at the R.M. Bailey Senior High School for the excellent work that you are doing, that you continue to do. And again, to Amaya and Luke, I say hats off to you for a job well done. You are excellent role models for your siblings, your younger siblings. And to you, Amaya, I hope your two little brothers, 8 and 9 year old, don't get on your nerves too much, but you are an excellent example for them. You show them the essence of hard work, and they will be the better, and you will be the better. Your family will be the better, all for it. So again, I say congratulations to you. Hats off to you for a job well done. Keep it up. To our viewers, if you would like to receive regular updates from the Ministry of Education, free direct text, message notification updates are available. You can subscribe by texting 819-BMOE. That's 819-2663. And remember to visit our social media platforms, inclusive of our website, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Again, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Adama Williams. We'll see you next time on Ed Table Talk Unplugged.